Hey class, we're still in part two, the development and distribution of consumer products. Merchandise resources is the last chapter in part two. So in this chapter, we'll learn about the resources that retail buyers tap into to get merchandise. Let's explore the role that manufacturers play. The construction or assembly of apparel merchandise is completed by manufacturers who convert raw materials into finished products. Historically, manufacturers would handle all phases of a garment production, such as procuring fabrics and trimmings and cutting and sewing. In some cases, manufacturers are the design companies which create product lines that are contracted out to other manufacturers for assembly. The manufacture of goods can take place domestically or in foreign countries. Foreign manufacture is often preferred as labor costs are low. The sale of the product line to retail buyers is designated to either the manufacturer's direct sales force or contracted out to sales representatives. Direct sales force staff are assigned to a specific geographical location. These salespeople are also referred to as account representatives or account executives. They explain to buyers the features of the line and process orders. They are also responsible for resolving any issues with delivery, damages, and returns. Manufacturer sales representatives are contracted reps who operate as independent contractors within a geographical location. Reps often present more than one line from their self maintained showroom. These reps are known as multi line reps. Multi line reps sell more than one manufacturer's line. These lines are compatible but not competitive. This means that the products, such as shoes and handbags, are non competitive in the sense that a buyer's decision to purchase one item is independent of their decision to purchase another. With the same buyer being responsible for purchasing, these lines are compatible and that one buyer can make the purchase. To aid in generating sales, reps receive support in the form of product training, garment samples, leads, and marketing materials from manufacturers. Manufacturer reps are able to successfully intersect certain territories because of their established accounts. The compatibility of the lines that they sell increase their sales volume as they are able to sell multiple lines to a single account. Manufacturers' reps are paid on commission. Wholesalers purchase goods in large quantities from manufacturers and then resells the goods at a markup to retailers. In spite of purchasing goods from a wholesaler at a higher price, retailers are enticed by the shorter lead times offered by wholesalers. This is important to reduce the risk of products being in the decline or obsolescence stage of the life cycle. At minimum, wholesalers offer their consumers financial, logistical, and marketing support. However, some operate as a rag jobber and perform inventory management and promotional functions. Imports. Global sourcing is the process of shopping for and purchasing imports. For example, when a U.S. retailer purchases foreign goods, those goods are imported to the U.S. to be sold. Imports are an important source of supply for retailers. Imported merchandise generally costs less to produce than merchandise made in the U.S. and offer a variety and distinction in product assortments that is not available in the U.S. The quality of imported merchandise, however, is compatible to the quality of merchandise made in the U.S. Most countries are both importers and exporters. Who imports merchandise? Manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers. Domestic and foreign wholesalers sell their merchandise directly to retailers or manufacturers' rep. To cut down on costs, larger retailers will import merchandise directly from factories overseas. Now that we've discussed some advantages of imports and who imports merchandise, let's look at some of the disadvantages. Difficulty collecting on damages or unacceptable goods. Retailers must comply with the laws of the country from which they're importing merchandise. There is uncertain landed cost. Imports actually tie up a retailer's capital in the sense that retailers purchase imports months in advance. Imports also have a high procurement cost and longer lead times. So buyers of foreign goods must be current on the political and economic climate of the country from which they are purchasing. The decisions made by political leaders impacts laws and regulations related to labor, exporting and importing, transportation, taxes, and exchange rates. Familiarity with local and national systems is also important. Understanding the country's climate will provide buyers with insight regarding how imports may be affected and help them determine if they should import from that particular country. Merchandise that is imported into the U.S. face trade barriers. Tariffs and quotas are types of trade barriers that must be adhered to. Tariffs are imposed by the U.S. to restrict foreign competition. They are based on import penetrations and the competitive price of domestic goods. Tariffs are paid by the domestic consumers rather than the export country. They ultimately increase the cost of goods being imported. They are intended to provide protections to U.S. companies, amongst other reasons, by lessening the threat on domestic companies. For example, employment and the growth of smaller companies. Import quotas control the quantity of merchandise that can be imported into the U.S. during a specific time period. Quotas are determined by the country and by the category of merchandise. They are announced in specific legislation or may be provided for in the Harmonized Tariff Schedule of the United States. U.S. buyers depend on the help and expertise of intermediaries to shop the international markets. Merchandise is purchased by using store-owned foreign buying offices and commissionaires. Store-owned foreign buying offices are owned and operated by the retailer. These offices work together with the home buying office to survey the market, source goods, place orders, and arrange shipments. Buyers in foreign buying offices are authorized to make purchases on behalf of the company. Commissionaires are usually contracted by retailers who do not operate their own foreign buying office. They act as an agent for the retailer, screening resources, ensuring quality control, arranging payment and shipment, as well as facilitating order placement. While commissionaires provide many of the same services that foreign buying offices do, they must receive authorization prior to making purchases. Markets. Markets are geographically located centers throughout the country and across the globe where goods are produced and sold at wholesale prices. Buyers and sellers come together at markets to conduct business. Numerous showrooms that are categorized by product are located throughout markets. Showrooms display the current product offerings of manufacturers, manufacturers' reps, wholesalers, and importers. A market center is a cluster of marts. New York City was the first market center in the U.S. However, in recent years, its importance has diminished as regional marts in Atlanta, Los Angeles, Miami, Chicago, and Dallas continues to grow. Sometimes regional marts specialize in specific categories of merchandise. Trade shows. Trade shows are temporary exhibits that are held in regional market centers and some marts. These shows are scheduled throughout the year and typically occur for a few days at a time, lasting up to a week. The show's vendors generally present a single category of merchandise or a group of related categories to buyers. Buyers can take advantage of networking with executives from major design and manufacturing companies, as well as other buyers. Trade shows host seminars by industry experts to help buyers stay abreast of industry trends. The most popular market is Fashion Week. Held twice a year in New York, London, Paris, and Milan, the major fashion capitals of the world, Fashion Week entails more than 200 shows that take place over a 9-day period. Historically, the event has been a more exclusive, invite-only event where buyers and media were invited to view runway shows. Today, the show has become more accessible to the public via live streaming and mobile apps. Those interested in attending virtually can purchase a VIP subscription for only $34.99 for 6 months. Trade shows are sponsored by trade associations, market centers, and/or management firms that specialize in trade show productions. The sponsor obtains the facility where the show will be held and then rents out space to exhibitors. The cost to rent space is determined by the size of the exhibitor booth. This fee, however, does cover drayage, booth furniture, listings in the show's directory, and publicity. The largest producer of trade shows for consumers' goods is George Little Management. Resident buying offices. A resident buying office is a consulting firm that specializes in marketing and research. Buying offices' primary role is to act as an advisor, product developer, and importer to its clients. They study consumer behavior, demographics, and emerging trends so they can advise clients of future market conditions. Fashion trends, new resources, hot items, opportunistic buys, and promotional opportunities are also relayed to clients. Some buying offices limit their focus to particular categories of merchandise or store types. Additional functions of a buying office include wholesale private label merchandise and group buying. Wholesale private label merchandise is when large quantities of merchandise is sourced and then resold, allowing smaller retailers to take part. Group buying is utilized to cut down on the cost and to meet minimums. This occurs when orders from clients for merchandise, store fixtures, and services are pooled. Buying offices can also cut their clients' costs by creating a single catalog that encompasses goods common to the assortments of their clients, rather than each client creating an individual catalog. Buying offices are also responsible for coordinating buyers' market trips and hosting buyers' meetings. Some may visit stores to determine a solution to a particular problem that the store is experiencing. Types of buying offices. The salary buying office is the most common office. It is owned and operated independent of its member stores. The syndicated buying office is owned and operated by a retail conglomerate. And private buying offices are owned and operated by a single retail organization.